You open your eyes, and there is only darkness. You can hear the screams in the distance. You can hear the sound of flesh and chains. You can feel everything around you being... Something must be changed. Welcome you to your weekly astrological horoscope for Thursday, December 14th. And if that wasn't a creepy beginning, it should really be. I'm not very good with the creepies, but welcome. How are y'all doing? Today is your second day of psychological transformations. Now, there's a lot going on here, and it's very difficult to, how do I say, kind of put things into perspective, because I feel like there's just so much happening, and I'm not exactly sure what is the best way to kind of come about saying it. But you know, this is a very powerful time to come into our transformations. Now, you guys have already seen the wow, I have great hair today. You guys have already kind of seen the type of energies that we have going around, right? So like, for example, we have the whole Mars and Scorpio. We have our moon in there fulfilling our new moon almost prophecies, if you really want to call them that. We have just all this awareness occurring up in Sagittarius, and this is it. This is the run. If I wasn't already going to name this video Psychological Transformations Part 2, I would have called this episode The Run. This is the moment in which your eyes become aware of everything that is happening around you, and you just scream in absolute terror and disgust and just wanting to absolutely run away from everything, and you're just running and 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 running. And you hear all of the screaming and all of the terror and the horror and the chains and the flesh being ripped off from people in the background. And you're just screaming as your mind is losing consciousness because of all the insanity and just horrors that are occurring around you. Because the moon is coming up to Jupiter in Scorpio, you're reminded of all of the shit that you have gone through. And keep in mind that Jupiter at this time is still trining Neptune, which essentially it's been exposing the fuck out of the lies, deceits, and veils that have been masking people and keeping them away from their true path, which is why it's squaring the North Node in Ceres, right? So this is removing the veil, removing the darkness, showing you what truly has been happening and how much in the blind you have been this entire time. But even through all of this creepy time period, there's a lot of really positive energies. Now, I didn't remove the energies from Mars in Saturn as well as Mars with Juno, because these are still good energies to be aware of. However, you know, the moon is coming at a very awkward time period in which Vesta is with Jupiter, and it's been making this whole T-square that wasn't here the last time the moon was here. So it's just, you know, at this moment it's being information overloaded of all the things that it doesn't understand, and it's traumatized, it's running for its life. But this is the moment in which we see the true darkness. Ironically enough, it's very close to the center of Scorpio, because the center would be 15 degrees. It's at 13. The moon is being exposed to all of the insanity and just horrors that exist within the layers of Scorpio. And it is terrified out of its motherfucking ass. This is the part where you literally, you know, like when you're watching anime and all of a sudden the main character is just running, like screaming at the top of his lungs, just running. This is this episode. This is Thursday. This is seeing the truth for what it is and realizing that you want nothing of this darkness. You want nothing of this lower vibration. You want nothing of the people that are causing this horror around your very lives. This is the moment in which you see things for what they truly are, and you are just like, almost vomiting at the sight of like, I can't believe I've been around this all this time and I haven't been aware of it all. This is that moment where you need to let go of that fear and you need to run towards the light. Run towards the light. Run towards Sagittarius. It's going to be coming up to Vesta, which means it's a very good time to focus on yourself and only yourself. Focus deeply on your own transformations. We are in Scorpio, so any sexual manifestations are actually really beneficial at this time. Do know that Scorpio rules sex, and Mars is currently in Scorpio, with Vesta being in Scorpio. And now I gotta talk about Vesta and Scorpio just a little bit, because there is a line of Vesta that many people talk about that has its place, and in Scorpio it's actually kind of interesting. So I don't normally talk about this, but we're gonna cover it today. Sex magic. Now you might be like, wait, Niwa, what did you just say? Did you just say sex magic? Yeah, actually I just did. There are multiple ways or reasons for having sex, right? Either for self-pleasure, pleasure for someone else, pleasure of union, and then there's magic. Now, why am I saying magic? If you know of your, 7 chakras, the chakra that is ruled by Scorpio is also the one that is the sex drive. When a person, orgasms or whatever, it releases a profound, huge amount of energy. Since all of creation starts from the energies of a male and female joining as one. And now I'm not talking about men and women, but female energy and male energy. Keep in mind that even men can have female energy and even women can have male energy. This is why even if you have a gay couple, if one of the persons have the male energy and the other one have the female energy, upon their union is still the energy for creation. Possibly not the creation of another human, but the creation for something to occur. And so that is that. But, Vesta takes energy in a different way, uses sex for a different purpose. Vesta, again, is the ruler of Aries, or technically the first house. And so Vesta is all about the self. So things like, for example, masturbation are ruled by Vesta, but not necessarily for the sake of pleasure. This is where things kind of where things get a little more interesting, right? So for example, when you, especially like a water witch would definitely understand what I'm talking about, Scorpio witches. When you use sexual energy, you use that energy to create something else. But when Vesta uses sexual energy, you use it to empower yourself. This isn't the type of act in which you're going to, for example, gloss through the internet. Like I just saw I saw a tweet earlier about Pornhub and plowing snow, right? For example, you're not gonna go on Pornhub and gonna use that material to fap or whatever and get sexual energy. That's not the way that it would work. One, because you're using a material that has the energy of another person. So, for example, If you curse at someone, now it's not, this person that we're talking about isn't someone that is actually physically here. Say for example, you just got off a phone call with somebody and you're pissed off at that person, and you know, end the call, and you're just walking around and you're still mad at the person, and you're cussing them out, and you're hating on them, and you're swearing at them, and you wish they would just die. Haven't you seen those instances where that person then goes through a traumatic experience? That is you sending out hateful, negative emotions at another person. It's the law of attraction. You send out hate, that person's going to receive the hate. Same thing is true, or the opposite is true. If you send out love and positivity, then that person will receive it, and you will also receive it. So when you're sending out emotions, whether they be positive or negative, that person will receive them, and you will receive its reflection. The same thing is with sexual energy. If you masturbate to a either video or picture or something of someone or something, generally I would kind of say in this case more on the realistic people as opposed to fucking, I don't know, art or something. That person will receive your energy, and you will, have the bounce back of that energy. So that's not what Vesta is about. Vesta is about self-concentration and doing sexual acts for your own self needs and self-improvements. So in this case, it's really about meditating, but with sexual energy, if you will. Hopefully that makes sense, because it's a little complicated. But yes, you can essentially boost up your magical energies using sex magic in that particular way. Now, obviously, witches of the past were kind of retarded, and what they would do is have sex with demons, and then they would get all of this dark energy, and that's where you have a lot of the very notable cases of witches using black magic and using demon magic and all that shit, because they were fucking retarded and they were fucking demons. Bad thing. Don't do that. You're just fucking over your own soul. However, using the path of Vesta instead, you can self-empower yourself. That's a good way of using sexual energy. Now, the reason I say that is because Vesta, the moon, and Mars, and Jupiter, who is kind of a man whore, are all in Scorpio. Venus and Lilith are out. They're in Sagittarius. So, using sexual energies, if you are I don't want to use the word woke, but like if you're an intuitive or a witch, or you use a lot of spell casting and stuff like that, this would be a good time for that. But I say this because the moon is coming up to Vesta, and Vesta is about self-devotion and focus and commitment and everything for yourself. You. And it's in Scorpio. So that intensity, that desire is amplified. And as you are going through this moon transformation, trying to gain your new moon resolution transformations, there's going to need to be a focus on yourself. There's going to need to be a focus on who you are, what you do, how you go about things. And I mean, literally, this is not a time to be thinking about other people, right? That's Libra. We add a Libra. We ain't got no planets in Libra right now. All of the action planets are either in Scorpio or Sagittarius. So this is very much about a you time period. And so you need to realize that the darkness that you just came out of, or the darkness that you were just shown, is a darkness that you don't want to associate yourself with, and that you want to truly transform who it is that you are, or what you are, so that you may reach a higher level of comfort. And so, as I said, today is day 2 of these transformations. As this moon gets closer and closer to where the new moon took place, our transformations will be complete. The deadline will be done, and from there on out, we're freeballing all the way until we get to the new moon in Sagittarius. However, there's still a significance of the moon going into Sag, which I will be talking about in the next couple videos. But know that the true deadline will be once the moon has reached, I think it's like the 26th or 28th degree. I'm trying to remember when the new moon took place. Essentially when that degree took place. When we had the ascendant, the sun, and the moon all together at the same time in Scorpio. That's going to be our deadline for our transformations. So you want to definitely use all of this souped up Scorpio energy, because this is basically a stellium. Like, I know a lot of people are like, no, you shouldn't include asteroids and stelliums and stuff. This is a fucking stellium. This is a 4-planet or 4-point stellium. So yeah. Uses energy moving forward. It'll definitely be very vital and profound, so don't sleep on it. You know, don't stay stuck in the shadows. You know, moon transiting Jupiter generally always makes you feel happy and content, and it raises your mood. And it's the sign of fucking expansion, right? You've been locked up in your little cage all of this time. No, it's time to enter into that level of optimism, of generosity, of good fortune, of good luck, and expansion and strong beliefs as it's moving forward, which is why Jupiter has been squaring our past and our present, our, you know, our beliefs in what has happened and what needs to happen. And with the moon here, you're getting that emotion that this is a time for change, this is a time for expansion, this is a time to, I almost wanted to finish that sentence and say this is a time to invest in Bitcoin because it's probably gonna flip. But this is a very good time for the rewards to kick in, because Jupiter definitely always rewards us when we're least paying attention. And because it would be in the 12th house of the new moon that occurred, this is divine rewards that are coming in. This is that co-creation that you initiated during the new moon. So this is all from the divines. This is all from your higher self, your guides, those that you've been working with, those that you've been helping along the way, those that you've been connecting with that may not be in your most immediate center or things that you can see, but you can definitely feel. They will be rewarding. You will see your own rewards from within, because this is something that you can't normally see or touch or feel, but it's something that is true and real and happening. This is all 12th house. And it's also the completion of things, which means that our end goal is almost here. The 12th house we've now approached, and things are coming to a conclusion. Now, I know it says 8 here, but I'm speaking in relations to the new moon. So this is it. This is the second part of our transformations. This is when we're, you know, running through all the darkness and realizing that there's a light, and just running to the light and just, you know, just keep pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping and going. And once you reach that light, you're in. You've done it. You've succeeded. So hang in there. Hang in there. The balance of dark and light is, you know, literally a degree away. And we've almost completed that which we've set out to do. Yeah. So hopefully you guys have found that useful. I don't really know exactly what too much to say here. It's just, it's a lot of, we've been working for this for about 26 days. This is what now, 20, I've almost made 30 videos at this point, right? So it's just like, whoa, whoa. We've gone through a hell of a trip here, and we're getting very close to that which we set out to do. Feels pretty good, man. Feels good. So yeah, hopefully you guys found this enlightening and helpful and useful and serviceable. And as usual, stay safe, stay positive. I will catch you guys on the next cast. Peace.